Sam, we're going to start this hour with the extreme weather hitting the Lone Star State again. Intense rain is falling in central Texas. It's packing floodwaters so powerful they destroyed another home. This one you see right here on your screen. And emergency crews are out in force rescuing people from cars that were trapped by the fast rising water.
So, Savannah, farther south in hard-hit Kirk County, there is yet another round of devastating flooding. Some searchers who were out looking for the more than 100 people still missing after July 4th's historic disaster had to pause their efforts because of the incoming weather. This morning, NBC News correspondent Morgan Chesky is in Kerrville and has the very latest.
Yeah, good morning. And right now, with this rain continuing to fall, there's a concern that we could see a replay of what happened yesterday. And that is when search crews had to abandon the river, at least temporarily, out of concerns that the river was going to rise yet again. And unfortunately, we are seeing storms all across the country dropping intense amounts of rainfall. Here in Kirk County, that number of the missing still sits at least 160 people. That has remained that for the last several days. Officials say that search and rescue crews have now transitioned into a recovery mode here along the 30 miles or so of river that runs through Kerr County. As it stands right now, we know that there are still families waiting to hear word on their loved ones, and conditions have been absolutely brutal here over the last several days between the debris that has created difficult terrain for crews to travel over, as well as just the temperature with it rising, getting incredibly hot. Bear in mind that some of the divers in this river have to deal with obstacles that we can't even see. Meanwhile, as questions continue to be raised over whether officials did everything they could to warn those in the flood's path, the city manager of Kerrville tells me that he was unsure if he had weather alerts on his phone the morning of the flood, saying that even if he did not, he has a dedicated team in place that keeps track of weather conditions. State leaders also telling me that one of the things they're going to be focusing on during this upcoming legislative session will be communication, saying that in some cases it appears that these summer camps relied on cell phones, and when the storm hit and those towers and service were knocked out, it left those camps cut off. Right now, back at the scene here in Kerrville alongside the Guadalupe River, the levels are remaining steady for now, but that could certainly change if this area continues to get more rain. We'll send it back to you.
All right, Morgan, thank you very much for your reporting. Well, farther west, fires are causing the biggest concern. Crews at the Grand Canyon are struggling to get a handle on the size of this fire. It's just exploding. It's along the canyon's north rim. It destroyed one of the historic lodges and has closed an access point for visitors to the iconic national park. NBC News correspondent Steve Patterson reports for us.
The fury from two raging wildfires laying siege to the north rim of the Grand Canyon.
We are all getting evacuated right now.
Park officials confirming the historic Grand Canyon Lodge was consumed by flames, along with park administrative buildings, visitor facilities, and a wastewater treatment plant. The fire at that plant prompting a release of chlorine gas that can prove deadly.
We were starting to get panicked. We didn't want to lose our lives down there.
Jamie Coffin and her friend Amanda Travis among those forced to evacuate from that leak, getting out of the canyon by chopper.
We didn't know how close that would be, and we were trying to hurry and pack.
In total, some 50 to 80 structures now confirmed lost, all destroyed by the so-called Dragon Bravo fire, which quickly scorched at least 5,000 acres, and the larger White Sage fire exploding to tens of thousands of acres after a lightning strike Wednesday. The Grand Canyon hosts the nation's third most popular national park, last year with more than 4.9 million visits. The historic lodge there, constructed nearly 100 years ago, served as a mountain oasis for millions, the only real lodging inside the park on the more remote north rim, now destroyed by flames.
Holy...
Crews racing to contain out-of-control flames, tearing down a piece of Americana, cutting off access to one of the world's great wonders. Steve Patterson, NBC News.
Steve, thank you so much. We are obviously off to a serious and stormy start to the week. We mentioned Texas earlier, Savannah, with flash flood threats across the country this morning.
Yeah, that's right. Michelle Grossman is here in studio tracking it all for us. Hey, Michelle, good morning.
Hey there, guys. Great to see you. And yeah, it seems like these stories just keep going on and on. Week after week, we are looking at flooding events. We're looking at severe storm risks. And that will be the story again today. Looking at radar right now, we're looking at some showers and storms that are bringing heavy rainfall. We have a lot of moisture in the atmosphere across the country, especially in the eastern half of the nation. So any storm that will spark will bring out a lot of rain. We're seeing some storms, as Morgan mentioned, in portions of Texas where you see those brighter colors. Those are the heaviest rainfall. And that's what we're seeing. We're going to continue to see this all day long into Tuesday. And then we have a stationary front that's kind of draped across the northeast all the way back to the plains. Along this front is going to be like train tracks where we're seeing storms along this front, and we're going to see them training in areas, meaning they're going to stay over the same areas. So we could see a lot of rain, especially in portions of the mid-Atlantic. We're seeing some storms early this morning. Florida, we're seeing an area of low pressure here. That's going to bring the chance for heavy, heavy rain, not only today, but also tomorrow. So that is the story in terms of futurecast. There's that stationary front that I told you about. It's literally a front that stays in place. It's not moving very far, and that's why we're seeing those showers and storms along it. And then notice as we get through the later part of today into the evening hours, we're going to see that sun sparking those storms. So we're going to see scattered storms throughout portions of the New England, all the way down to the southeast, the Tennessee Valley, the mid-Mississippi Valley, into the southern plains. So you certainly need your umbrella today, and you need to stay vigilant and aware as you're out and about, especially driving, with the chance of this flash flooding. Then tomorrow we're going to see more scattered storms and showers. Flood alerts are in place for 41 million people. We have them from the New England area into the mid-Atlantic, where you see the green. That is a flood watch. But notice in Texas, that includes portions of central Texas and also hard-hit area of New Mexico. So all the places that we heard about last week that was hit hard by flash flooding, we're going to see that once again today. Rainfall forecast, look at this all across the country through Tuesday. The northern tier of the nation looking at the chance for severe storms and heavy rainfall. Minneapolis, O'Neill, and then the eastern half, New York City, Philadelphia, D.C., Baltimore, the big cities. If you're flying out today, you want to call ahead down to Charlotte, and look at Tampa and portions of central and southern Florida. Heavy, heavy rain there. We could see up to 5 inches of rain locally over the next 2 days. It's an area of low pressure just pulling in tropical moisture. So as I mentioned, a lot of moisture in the air. Severe weather threat also, especially in the northern tier of the nation. But notice, including the major cities along the I-95 corridor from Philadelphia to New York City, also Baltimore, could see some stronger thunderstorms. That's including the heavy rainfall that we expect too.
It feels like deja vu. Didn't we just do this last week and the week before that as well?
That's the thing. It's like we're not getting that break, right? That's a climate connection where things are not budging. So much moisture in the air, and that's where we're having the problems.
Storms move slower, like you keep on mentioning to us. All right, Michelle, thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Well, let's circle back to those floods in Texas. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem defended the government's response to the disaster in an interview yesterday with Meet the Press moderator, our friend Kristen Welker. Noem pushed back on criticism that her policies slowed down the response. Here's Kristen with more.
Hello there, Savannah and Sam. This week on Meet the Press, I spoke to Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem about claims her policies held up the government's emergency response to the floods in Texas. Disasters often cost millions, if not billions of dollars. You've acknowledged there is this policy you implemented to sign off on contracts that exceed $100,000. Why add extra red tape when there is a crisis of this magnitude?
It's not extra red tape. It's making sure everything is getting to my level and that it's immediately responded to. This was not slowed down at all. In fact, it was much more responsive. If you remember, I was there. I was standing right there long before this report ever came out, and people were asking and we were granting permission in real time. So the false reporting has been something that is inappropriate, and it's something that I think we need to clear up, and that this response was by far the best response we've seen out of FEMA, the best response we've seen out of the federal government in many, many years, and certainly much better than what we saw under Joe Biden.
You can see my full interview and a lot more at MeetThePress.com. You can also get more Meet the Press here on NBC News Now every weekday at 4 p.m.
All right, Kristen, thank you so much. Let's get into all of these moving parts from D.C. right now with NBC News White House correspondent Vaughn Hilliard. Vaughn, great to see you, my friend. We know that the president and Noem there had floated the idea of axing FEMA altogether. Kristen pressing Noem on the president's proposal during the interview on Meet the Press. We just heard that. What did she have to say about it?
Right. Good morning, guys. Kristi Noem was explicit that the president does not intend to end FEMA as the country knows it. She instead says that FEMA, they intend to have it redeployed and sent to states in a new, more effective way, is the argument that Kristi Noem is making, one in which they're going to serve as a support capacity. But she suggested that there are other federal resources, from military to Border Patrol, that in this instance we're able to step in and support state emergency response teams along with FEMA. And so, of course, that is usually the role that FEMA typically plays in natural disasters, that support capacity. So there's distinctions that are not being made clear by this administration, but that does run counter Noem's commitment to keeping FEMA in place to the president's suggestions over the last 7 months that he wanted to end FEMA completely. Of course, this is a change in tune after this flooding disaster in Texas, but one that would call into further question of exactly just how do they intend to revamp FEMA, and to what extent does the president agree with his DHS secretary's assessment that it is here to stay?
Vaughn, also, aside from that, when we talk about FEMA, there's also this conversation about whether federal staffing cuts may have impacted the ability to prepare for extreme weather events like the floods in Texas, to forecast them, and very importantly, to get that information out to people who live in those areas. Tell us about the latest on that.
Exactly. There is still scrutiny of what took place in Texas and the extent to which staffing cuts, including at NOAA, 2,000 staffing cuts, could have impacted the ability for officials on the ground and for locals to appropriately respond. I think that we are still a ways away from knowing or being able to fully analyze the exact consequences of federal budget cuts, but particularly when it comes to NOAA, the nominee to head the agency just last week went before the Senate during the confirmation process and suggested that he supported staffing up NOAA and its offices to ensure that communities like those in Texas have the proper resources. But this is where the president himself has pushed back, suggesting that there were no negative consequences, and that this was a once-in-a-generation flood that took place in Texas. But of course, others on the ground pushed back vehemently against the suggestion that there couldn't be more that could be done at a federal and local level to better prepare for similar situations moving forward.
And by the way, ahead of the heart of hurricane season, we'll see how much this conversation continues to evolve on. While we have you, just switching gears for a second here, we understand President Trump is meeting with NATO's Secretary General later today after the president said he would be sending weapons to Ukraine after all. On top of that, the president has also been pretty vocal in his criticism of Russian President Vladimir Putin. So break it all down for us. What's the latest with that situation?
Right. These are big moves, and one that the president has continued to defend. The U.S. sending NATO, specifically air defense missile systems. This after months of calling into question whether the U.S. would remain committed to defending Ukraine and its war of defense from Russian aggression. And I want to let you listen to the president here, who is making it clear that the U.S. will continue to provide these missile defense systems to NATO, who will then in turn provide them to Ukraine. Take a listen.
We basically are going to send them various pieces of very sophisticated military, and they're going to pay us 100% for them. And that's the way we want it. We will send them Patriots, which they desperately need, because Putin really surprised a lot of people. He talks nice, and then he bombs everybody in the evening. So there's a little bit of a problem there, and I don't like it.
For the last year, NATO and European allies questioned whether the U.S., if the President Trump were to get into the White House, would remain committed to Ukraine's defenses. And the president here in the summer of 2025 indicating that the U.S. military will continue to support Ukraine, at least for now at this moment, guys.
All right, Vaughn, covering a lot for us this morning. Thank you.
A lot going on in D.C. clearly right now. On another front, President Trump is taking heat from some of his most loyal supporters over the administration's handling of the Jeffrey Epstein case. At a weekend gathering hosted by conservative group Turning Point USA, many in attendance expressed outrage at Attorney General Pam Bondi after she released a memo saying there was no further evidence to reveal in this case. That, of course, coming, the backdrop here, months after the AG said on Fox News in February, there was an Epstein client list sitting on my desk. NBC News White House correspondent Yamiche Alcindor has more on the growing rift.
Growing fallout over the Trump administration effectively closing the case of convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, as many of the president's supporters demand more information.
How many of you are satisfied? You can clap. Satisfied with the results of the Epstein investigation? Clap.
This weekend in Florida, Epstein, a frequent topic at a summit hosted by the conservative group Turning Point USA.
The reason why we wanted Trump to be president is because he's supposed to get rid of the corruption, drain the swamp, not to protect people that are in Jeffrey Epstein's files.
The uproar comes after Attorney General Pam Bondi, the DOJ, and FBI issued an unsigned memo that said there is no additional evidence to reveal in the Epstein case. That enraged many in the MAGA base who are accusing Bondi and the Trump administration of a cover-up. In a sign of where things stand, Bondi joining President Trump at the FIFA Club World Cup final. That after the president posted online saying, Attorney General Pam Bondi is doing a fantastic job. Let's not waste time and energy on Jeffrey Epstein. But that hasn't quieted the fervor or the questions. A source who has spoken to Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino tells NBC News that Bongino is threatening to quit and torch Pam unless she's fired.
Do you have confidence in Attorney General Pam Bondi?
I do. America is safer with Pam Bondi as Attorney General.
Still, Elon Musk, once a close Trump ally and now a frequent critic, posting that the president should just release the files as promised. Meanwhile, as this is dividing the so-called MAGA movement, some Democrats are also using this controversy over the Epstein files to criticize the president. One Democratic senator said this fight is a sign of the chaos and disorder within the Trump administration. Back to you.
All right, Yamiche, thank you. Well, it's been just over a year since the attempt on President Trump's life in Butler, Pennsylvania. And now a new Senate report on the attempted assassination is calling for more severe disciplinary action to be taken against the Secret Service.
So then the presidential candidate at the time, Mr. Trump, was grazed, as you recall, by a bullet, during which that rally was fired by 20-year-old gunman Thomas Crooks. The incident raising pointed questions about how Crooks was able to avoid detection by the Secret Service for almost 45 minutes. The new report from the Senate has revealed, quote, multiple unacceptable failures in the Secret Service's planning and response, and criticized the agency for insufficient accountability following that attack.
A lot to unpack here. Let's bring in NBC News Capitol Hill correspondent Julie Sirkin. She joins us from Washington. Julie, good morning. What more can you tell us about this report?
Yeah, hey guys, good morning. Well, look, it was a report that was long awaited, and the Republican chair of the Homeland Security Committee that prepared this report, Senator Rand Paul, called this failure unacceptable. He said that 4 different times were requests denied for additional security from the Trump campaign at the time. They also said, like you mentioned, that no accountability was taken. Rand Paul over the weekend, for example, pointing to the fact that there was just one resignation, the ex-Secret Service chief, after Republicans and Democrats, by the way, suggested that she lied in her testimony to Congress. But other than that, Rand Paul pointed out that after he sent subpoenas, only then did several agents get pulled from duty. But he said that nobody was fired and that this was a failure, despite the president himself defending the job that the agents did on that day. I want to read you a statement from this report saying, quote, this was not a single error. It was a cascade of preventable failures that nearly cost President Trump his life. The American people deserve better. So I assume this is not the end of the road. This report, of course, now out 1 year since that shooting, guys.
Yeah, and not surprisingly, a damning report at that. Now to a split screen here, Julie. In other news from the Hill, Democratic and Republican officials touring that new immigration detention center in Florida's Everglades over the weekend. Both parties offering wildly different descriptions of the center that's being called Alligator Alcatraz. After the visits, what are we hearing from lawmakers?
Yeah, extremely. Nothing new, guys, right? That every single topic nowadays has wildly different depictions and descriptions of sometimes the same reality. And that is exactly what we're seeing with Alligator Alcatraz. This facility, of course, controversial, opened last month, unveiled by the president, by Kristi Noem, the DHS secretary, and by Governor DeSantis of Florida. Over the weekend, we saw Democratic officials from here in Washington take a look inside. They, of course, represent districts in Florida. Here's a look at what we heard from them. Excuse me.
The conditions that we saw inside this internment camp, which it is nothing less than that description, were really appalling.
When they let us in to see the cages, and we saw people, of course, yelling for help, it was very emotional to be there for all of us, to hear that, and to see that our taxpayer money is being used for this.
Now you see Democrats, fellow Democrats standing behind him during that visit. Meanwhile, we heard a strong defense from not only Noem over the weekend with our own Kristen Welker, saying these facilities are up to the highest standards, rejecting those claims by Democrats who call those prison cells. Debbie Wasserman Schultz, for example, saying that more than 30 people are held in one of those rooms at a time. You heard state officials, Republicans, who also visited the facility, praising it, saying that this is a great idea, that these conditions are good for these people, these undocumented migrants who are being put there. Of course, they also have an option, according to DeSantis, to be directly deported from there. This facility is on near a flight path, and so that is an option available for them, and something the Democrats also raised concerns about over the weekend when they talk about due process.
Julie, also both the House and Senate back in session this week tackle some of these agenda items for the Trump administration. What are they going to focus on?
Well, the big agenda item for the week is trying to cut back about $9 billion in spending that the government already put out there, already appropriated and signed into law. This is really controversial, not only among Democrats, who, of course, are not going to provide any votes for this effort. This is something the Trump administration wants Republicans in the Senate and the House to tackle. But this is something that Republicans in the Senate also take issue with. Susan Collins, who is the chair, the person who has control over the Appropriations Committee, that's kind of who controls the purse strings of the government. She wants changes to this piece of legislation. They want to cut back funding from foreign funds, aid that goes to different countries in the form, for example, of PEPFAR, a life-saving program that helped millions with HIV and AIDS, and also funding to public broadcasting. That includes public weather alerts, and that is something that, of course, is being talked about a lot, given those catastrophic floods in Texas. So a long road ahead for the Senate this week, but President Trump putting the pressure on them. He wants it done this week.
Yeah, it seems pretty relevant in terms of the urgency of some of those dollars right now. Thank you, Julie.
Kidding. All right, well, President Trump is ramping up his global trade war against two of America's largest trading partners. So he announced 30% tariffs on all imports from Mexico and also the European Union on Saturday. These are set to begin on August 1st.
Yeah, the roller coaster continues. The move has many business owners concerned about their bottom lines and being forced to pass their expenses onto their customers. Reporter Emma Goss from our NBC affiliate in the Bay Area explains.
Fresh food comes at a high price these days for shoppers and for store owners, like Maria Guadalupe Lopez, whose 9 grocery stores have been eating the extra costs of many imports. Now, she says the threat of higher tariffs on imports from Mexico and Europe are too steep to absorb.
I think we have reached the limit. At this point, there's no way that we can, keep eating those costs, because otherwise we're going to go out of business. And unfortunately, that's the fact for every small business.
Meaning you'll be paying more for imports like olive oil from Italy and fresh tomatoes and avocados from Mexico.
I am extremely concerned because every tariff that comes into effect, regardless what country it comes from, is an increment on groceries. It's an increment on the consumer. It's an increment on the food on the table.
And it's not just the price of food that could be going up. This Mexican market imports all kinds of things, from laundry detergent to party supplies from Mexico.
The owner of Fiesta Mexicana in East San Jose said her business and many other Mexican markets in the area are already struggling. Fears of ICE arrests in the area have hurt business. She says higher tariffs will too.
Consumers and businesses should be concerned because there is no time to bring products in early to offset the incoming tariffs. Everything is going to cost more over time.
The European Commission president responded to the announcement, threatening retaliatory tariffs. Mexican officials pushing back, saying these new tariffs are unfair treatment. The president warning of even higher tariffs if either trade partner retaliates.
And our thanks to Emma Goss for that report. Well, for now, neither Mexico nor the European Union have retaliated, but the European Union says it has $100 billion of retaliatory tariffs on standby.
All right, to break this all down, Investopedia editor-in-chief Caleb Silver joining us now. And Caleb, good morning. Look, we saw on Friday the market reactions when Trump threatened new tariffs for Brazil and other countries. Now we're talking about the EU and Mexico. What is your anticipation of what the market stability or lack thereof is going to look like later today?
I don't think we're going to see a sell-off like we saw post-Liberation Day. I think the markets and investors are not quite sure if we're going to go through with these tariffs, so I think there's been a little bit of recovery there, obviously. But also, we don't know if these are actually going to come to pass or whether there's going to be retaliatory tariffs, so investors are kind of caught in this limbo. In the absence of concrete information, they've been bidding the market higher. We saw some softness on Friday. You'll probably see it today. It'll be choppy until we get to August 1st, but I think the big sell-off is done, and investors are now focused on corporate profits. This is the week that earnings season begins. We're going to start to hear from companies of whether or not they're going to absorb this or pass it on to customers.
You mentioned Liberation Day. People may remember that day back in April where, I mean, people were stressed out, like just in a day, seeing the savings wiped out, seeing 401ks wiped out. Maybe it's a little relief to hear that you don't think it's going to be quite like that, but what can people anticipate and what's your advice to them?
My advice to them is, since we don't know, keep doing what you're doing. And what people have been doing is buying the stock market. And the stock market was dancing around record highs last week. We'll probably stay around there as we go through earnings season. Corporate profits have actually gotten better. Consumers are still spending. Now, this could change everything come August 1st. But as we know, everything changes on an hour-by-hour, day-by-day basis.
It sounds like you're saying companies and investors have been burned already, believing too strongly that these tariffs were actually going to be implemented. So now it's more of a wait-and-see approach.
Yeah.
I want to turn your attention to one other story that's making headlines this morning. This has to do with a ABC News interview that was done with the National Economic Council director. Here's what he said. He said that Trump has the ability to fire Fed Reserve Chair Jerome Powell. This has been a topic of conversation, whether or not that's within the president's authority, for weeks now, if not longer. What does he actually have the capability of doing?
Well, the Fed chair can be fired for incompetence or for performing poorly in his job. Now, what does that actually mean? The Fed is responsible for setting monetary policy, and it's trying to keep inflation in check and employment pretty full here. And we have both of those things happening right now. But now the Office of Management and Budget is focused on the Fed's renovations. The Fed has been undergoing a $2 billion renovation of the campus of the Federal Reserve for a few years now. Really hasn't been touched up in many, many years. So they're focused on that, saying they're trying to turn it into a Versailles. And maybe they use that as a wedge to say, the Fed chair has been in charge of this renovation. Maybe we'll fire him for mismanaging the renovation of the Federal Reserve's campus in Washington, D.C.
Interesting. So the construction of Versailles is actually what's going to get in the way of...
Exactly. When monetary policy is actually the thing that matters, and that's what the Fed is in control of. But the Fed has been under pressure for a long time. We know the way the president feels about President Trump. There'll probably be a shadow Fed chair appointed in the next couple of months here.
Oof. All right, Caleb, we know you'll talk us through it all. Thank you so much.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.